Hi everyone, welcome to Viewers Mistakes number 6. In each of these clips my viewers accept they're partly responsible. And then I grade everyone involved to give my opinion. So what went on here? Well, plain and simple, everyone was following too close, including my viewer. They're only about a second behind this vehicle in front. And with it being a van you can see even less of what's happening up ahead. And when someone turns right we get the classic concertina effect. My viewer was lucky they had an escape route. There's never a reason to be travelling too close. My viewer gets a D. And most of the other vehicles weren't much better. This video has been kindly sponsored by Private Internet Access. I know this roundabout quite well, and it can get really busy most times of the day. What mistake does my viewer make here? As with the last clip, my viewer wasn't looking far enough up ahead. Let's have another little look at this. When roundabouts are busy there's always a little bit of pressure to find that gap, and I think that's what my viewer does. They just go for the gap without looking up ahead enough. And they don't see the white Audi from the next junction on the left just barge their way out, and that's the vehicle that causes all the problems. Luckily my viewer got onto it just in time, but I've got to give them a C. But it was the driver of the Audi that caused the problem, so they get a D. My viewer called this clip perhaps too fast, and I think they've got it spot on. I also think the positioning of this lorry had a big deal to do with this incident. In the end it was sorted okay, but I'd just like to go back to our previous clip just for a second to explain something. Watch closely the position of the Nissan Juke in the left lane. Sometimes taking up this position to the left encourages people to pull out in front of you, as they wrongly assume you're going to take that first or previous exit. And I think that's what happened here also, and combine that with what I said before about the lorry's position, and I think both of these cars expected my viewer to take this exit. My viewer was doing the correct thing but a little fast, so they get a C. The Land Rover rectified the problem the best way they could and they also get a C, but I think the Jag just carried on regardless, so they get a D.
Oh shit.
An easy but a very common mistake that people make at junctions. People need to look more thoroughly and take more time at junctions because that's usually where collisions happen. A hit's a hit though, my viewer gets a D.
Before we go any further, I'd just like to have a quick word about today's video sponsor, Pia VPN. I filmed this integration whilst on my summer holidays in Mexico, where unfortunately all the Wi-Fi networks that I'm using are unsecured. Unfortunately, even when I'm on holiday, there are things that I need to sort out, but with my subscription to Pia VPN, I know my data is always safe and secure. We booked a trip to Chichen Itza, and I had to log onto my banking app to pay for the trip, and I was a little bit worried that without private internet access, my logon details weren't protected. Pia VPN hides your IP address and safeguards your internet connection through an encrypted tunnel, and this protects your information from the eyes of the prying hackers. Pia VPN has been on 24/7 since my arrival. I've experienced absolutely no slowdown in speed and it's been used on all my devices. In fact, one private internet access subscription can protect an unlimited amount of devices at the same time. And it also allows me to stay up to date with my favourite shows just with one click. I'm connected to a UK server. There is a 30-day money-back guarantee with 24/7 customer support. By using my link, you can grab yourself an 86% discount on private internet access, and that's just £1.57 per month. and you'll also get 4 extra months completely for free. I'm really happy with my subscription to PIA VPN. It's easy to use, it's great value, and I know my data is always secure wherever I go.
At the roundabout, take the second exit to Gravel Hill.
My viewer's approaching a roundabout, and I think they get in the wrong lane. But I'm going to give my viewer an A for this. We all make mistakes. There's no risk in doing this whatsoever, and it's actually a very good piece of driving. They realise the Porsche SUV is next to them, and there must be someone quite close behind. They don't even try to filter. They just put the right signal on again and do another lap. When you try and force the issue, or if you make a rash decision, that's where mistakes are going to happen. People aren't expecting it. So this is quite an unusual one. This is a mistake, but it's really not a mistake. And hopefully this clip has just sowed the seed. If you get in a similar situation, you'll probably now make a similar decision. Nice job from my viewer, a well-deserved A. There wasn't much my viewer did wrong up until a crucial point with this overtake of this cyclist. The view up the road to help with the overtake is being improved. My viewer's moving further out to the right hand side, and it's obvious that they're not happy with the overtake just yet because they haven't committed. But the error comes from committing a tiny little bit early, and they end up not changing their mind when they had time to. Notice the oncoming car is visible. My viewer at this point just needs to abandon, but instead they keep going. My viewer gets a C, but full credit for owning your mistake.
That was very bad.
This is some lovely footage from a VFO dashcam. It's one of the base models and retails at under £100, but if you use my code AshleyNeil, you'll save yourself a further 5%. In this clip, my viewer does 2 overtakes. The first one's done reasonably, but they do break the speed limit by about 10 miles an hour or so. What's your opinion on this? In other words, would you break the speed limit to overtake? That's going to be a discussion for another day, but it's this second overtake where the big mistake happens, in my opinion. I think my viewer was that concentrated on getting past that they missed the warning triangles. The road narrows up ahead and there's a school. And both of those, combined with the fact we've already had a warning triangle for a junction to the left, would have said to me, not yet. But my viewer goes for it. The other driver's unaware and moves across, and luckily there's no collision. Overtaking's a risky business, so you've got to make sure you do it properly. And for this, I've graded my viewer at a D. Remember, mistakes don't have to be anyone's fault. My viewer just could do better in this scenario. Let's have a look at this as a hazard perception clip. A lot of the traffic's moving out from lane 1 into lane 2 because there's a slower moving vehicle up in lane 1. But look what's behind that slower moving vehicle. And look at the gap in between my viewer and the one in front. Although the driving from the red Corsa in front was awful, my viewer should and could have anticipated this a lot better. So for this clip, I'm giving them a B. In this final clip, I'm going to let you watch it first and see what you think before I do my little bit of analysis. It always surprises me how many accidents and problems you can have in shopping retail parks like this, and this one was a real close one. As you can see, my viewer wasn't doing this right turn. They're trying to reverse into the parking space that's behind them. What do you think caused that? And could my viewer have done anything different? So the problem car that we're dealing with is this one reversing out of the space in the far distance behind us. And now, because we're watching this clip for the second time, we know my viewer is trying to reverse into one of the spaces on the left hand side in a moment. I think my viewer should have been keeping an eye on the mirrors a little more. And when the space was chosen, there was little or no communication with the vehicle approaching from behind. Because they've caught up really quickly, I would have put a left signal on and just waited in front of the space on the left until they'd passed. But there were also other options to make this a safe manoeuvre. What would you have done? In any case, my viewer just steers out to the right and it's a close call with the impatient driver from behind. For this clip, I'm giving my viewer a C and the impatient vehicle behind gets a D. Don't forget, all these ratings are down to risk. They're not about blame. Keep safe. I'll see you next time.